Hello to all my followers. Your average Joe politics, where I'm just an average Joe, give my opinion on politics. So I had a friend ask me to, really get into politics, start this page. I've kind of did it as a way to separate my personal page from my political stances on things, and a little bit about me. I'm more of a conservative, but with an open mind than most conservatives. I believe knowledge is power. Whether you agree with an opposing view or not, at least hear the facts or opinions. But I prefer facts. So let's see. I've had a long week, first week doing this, and I'm looking at this Facebook app. No, put a mask to give yourself a fun look. I think my beard does it itself. So I'll start right off with what I found a pretty interesting article. Yeah, a lot of stuff I have on my Facebook page is like Loudwood Crowder, conservative reviews, a lot of right-leaning sources. But I did find a very interesting source, and my liberal friends couldn't believe the facts, so I gave them to them. President Trump is issuing a temporary ban on certain people coming into the country. Newsflash. Obama signed into law a similar thing. I say similar because I haven't really read all the info on it, but I don't think President Trump is actually issuing a temporary ban. I think he's putting restrictions on travel, which is the same thing President Obama did, yet there wasn't one peep from the left. So let me, I have my papers here. Let me look at this and I'll read you some stuff. So this one is H.R. 158, Visa Waiver Program, Improvement and Terrorist Travel Prevention Act of 2015. Now, what that states in short is all these liberals are having their minds blown because we're banning Muslims, we're banning certain groups of people. Well, one, it's if it's a ban, it's temporary. It's very clearly stated it's temporary because he wants to fix the broken vetting system. Now, I'll save that for another time on the video, but right now, yeah, I need coffee. Right now, I'll just say, you know what, it's a broken system. It needs to be fixed. Can we stop everybody? No, I'll take kind of the same stance as far as firearms go. You can't prevent something from happening. You can pass all the legislation you want. If someone's intent on doing something, then they're going to do it anyway. You can put all the laws you want in place. They'll find another way. So will it stop terrorism? No, not entirely. Will it stop a little bit? I guess you could take a liberal stand and say, well, if it just saves one child. So you can have that argument. We'll save that for another time. So this is I got it right here. I'll post links later. It's on the page anyway. So the Visa Waiver Program, Improvement in Terrorist Travel Prevention Act of 2015. Right now it says, according to this, the latest action was December 9th of 2015 received in the Senate, which one of my friends pointed out it doesn't look like it went anywhere, which is true because it didn't go anywhere because it was tied to another bill that President Obama signed into law. So here's what it states. Restriction of use of Visa Waiver Program for aliens who travel to certain countries. My God, it sounds like President Obama wants to restrict certain groups of people. Now, where was the liberal outrage when this happened? You got to ask yourself that, right? So, here's what it says. Section 217A of the Immigration and Nationality Act, as amended by this act, is further amended by adding at the end the following. Now, pay attention. Not present in Iraq, Syria, or any other country or area of concern. In general, except as provided in subparagraphs, if the alien has not been present at any time on or after March 1st, 2011, in Iraq or Syria. It sounds pretty clear to me that he's targeting a group of people. Now, had I known about this back then, I would have actually given President Obama a compliment for, doing something to protect this country, which, I normally, I'll be the first to say, I didn't give President Obama very many compliments. Why? Because I thought he sucked. That's my opinion. I could go all day on why. So when you look at this and you have this, now, I didn't print out the other paper, but here's where it became law, and I'll post links after. Obama did sign into law the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2016. It became law December 18th of 2015. Within that law, they included this H.R. 158 Visa Waiver Program and Terrorist Travel Prevention Act of 2015. So this is where politics suck. This is where you hate how politics play politics. Apparently, it was tied to a budget. Am I saying that? Am I saying that he would have vetoed this? I don't know. But what I do know is this: politics suck. Fact check everything. When they take a bill that they want to pass and they tie it to another bill to make it law, and they say, well, hey, if you're going to pass this, I'm not going to allow you to have the money you want unless you approve this. I think that's bullshit for any party, regardless of Republican, Democrat, and throughout the years, they've done it over and over again, Republicans and Democrats. I think it's horrible. I think the American people want clarity. They want, transparency in their government, which would include stop throwing extra provisions into a bill. If you're going to pass something, pass the law that you put forth. Don't say, well, okay, you can have this, but we're going to throw this on there too. Then you sign it and make it a law. I don't agree with that. But the fact remains that if President Obama didn't like the bill, the Consolidated Appropriations Act, as it was written, with the stipulation of the Visa Waiver Program, which obviously targets Iraqis and Syrian refugees, all he had to do was veto it. He made it law. He signed it into law December 18th of 2015. He had the power of the veto, yet he signed it into law. Let that sink in. So, with that being said, I'll post links to that later. What else did I have going on this week? I had a lot of discussion about everything President Trump is doing. Bottom line, I hope he does well. God bless him. I hope he does well for the country. I voted for him. I voted for Rand Paul in the primaries. But I'm going to stand behind my party when it came to the presidency, because there's more at stake than just a presidency. There's a Supreme Court. And Hillary made it very clear her stance on the Second Amendment. So there was all that at stake. And I felt voting for Trump, I could have said, you know what, I don't like either of them, I'm going to go home. And apparently the liberals, a lot of them decided, you know what, I don't like Hillary, I'm not going to vote for her. Well, good, I'm glad, and thank you. Mainstream media, I think they had a big part in the outcome of the election. Too many people didn't vote for Hillary, either because she's just a horrible person, her politics, maybe the message actually did get out. I mean, here's a person who took money through her foundation, pay for play politics. People just couldn't stand behind her. She's taking money. Her foundation is taking money from countries that throw gays off buildings to their death. And the fact that people were still supporting her, I'm like, you do realize that her foundation is taking money from people that kill gays, right? She cares about women's rights and women's equality, yet while her husband, Bill Clinton, was president, women were paid less in the White House. Ironically, for those with trying to champion equal rights for women that are Democrats. Guess what? President Obama had 8 years, and women are still paid less in the White House. So you got to ask yourself, are they really concerned about equality when it comes to pay? A pretty good one I had this week was about the Women's March. And hey, I'll be the first to say, you know what, if you're peacefully protesting, you're following the law, and you're using your First Amendment right, freedom of speech, more power to you. I don't have to agree on your stance, whether it be a false narrative or not, but the reality is, if you peacefully protest, that's your right. God bless you. Good luck. You know, that's your right. You know, if that's what you got to do to get the word out about things that are important to you, and you're doing it peacefully, you're not blocking traffic, you're not being assholes, good for you. You know, that's your right. That's the beautiful thing about living in America. That is your right. In regards to the Women's March, you have to question, and I don't have everything in front of me. I was very ill prepared for this, but I wanted to get this out. Based on what I'm reading, they're talking about equality. And again, President Obama was in the White House for 8 years. Women are paid less in the White House. Let that sink in for a minute. I had one person on one of my friends' comments, and I don't have it in front of me, made a comment of, I said, well, equality. I says, you know, women are paid less in the White House. Obama had 8 years. And then I said, I went on further to say, you know, I'm just curious that, you know, this march, it was about equality for women and so many other things, apparently, on what they were telling me. And I said, well, I says, I didn't see one protester out there holding a sign up, hey, you know, it said, hey, selective service, women for selective service. Why is that? They want equality, but they already have it. They can pursue equal pay. If they're not happy with the pay, they can pursue it anywhere else. That's the freedoms in this country. If you're not happy with something, you have the power to change that. So I asked about the selective service, and their minds were like, one of them in particular said this comment. Okay, she's saying equal rights. You know, yeah, this march was in part was about equal rights. I said, well, what about selective service? You cannot have, say you're championing or marching for equality, and then you sit there and make this statement. This was priceless. I don't have the exact verbiage in front of me, but she said, women cannot do what men do in combat. Okay, I'll say again. She said, women cannot do what men do in combat. Okay, that kind of negates your whole women are equal stance, doesn't it? Just a little bit. I also questioned, well, okay, so you just literally spit on the face of every woman that's in our military. You just did. Because I would say that there are a lot of women in our military who do their job extremely well and can probably outperform many of the men around them. So to make that kind of blanket statement, I was like, are you shitting me? You're saying women are equal, but you just said, oh, well, women can't do what men do in combat. And she further went on to say that, well, women can have children, so they shouldn't be taken from their children to go to war. So I asked, are you saying that fathers can't parent their children? Because I know a person who parents his children and does an awesome job at it. And again, there was really no response to that. Look, if you want equality, that's great. You already have equality. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't have equality. There's nothing stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve. The only thing limiting you is you. If you don't like the pay you have, then you can go somewhere else to get better pay, just like I can. So that was mind blowing with selective service thing. Also, and it was just like I was taken back by that whole discussion about it. I'm kind of going all over the place here, so I should have a script next time to kind of stay on topic for everything and make these live video feeds a little more enjoyable and to the point. Getting back to the child things, yeah, I can't. Women shouldn't have to be taken from their children to go to war. So I was like, it's okay for men to go to war and not be home with the children? Are you saying that women parent children better than men? Is that what you're stating? Or that men can't parent children? Because I'm a little confused on that. And then there was probably one personal attack on that page. At least this person did it with class. It was civil, but still personal attack. Another thing that I've learned this week is when you're discussing things with people with opposing views. In my personal opinion, those that are liberals, I've found that they will actually shut you down before having a valid discussion. Well, here's the reality. You don't have to have a debate with somebody or a discussion and be an asshole to each other. You can do it with civility and respect. You don't have to be a dick. And if you want to change someone's opinion or get someone to at least think or open their eyes about stuff, give facts. Don't just give your opinion on things. I had a friend, I was discussing something that President Trump had done, and it kind of went off topic into climate change. Now, I'll be open and honest and say I'm extremely skeptical about climate change. Why? I don't know shit about it. I told my friend, I'm like, hey, you know what? You know a lot about it. I really don't know shit about it. He gave me some links. He says, well, look at these and tell me what you think. Well, based on the one link he sent me, I remain skeptical because it was a release of data, NASA imaging, showing how climate change is real. But years later, NASA released new footage and they debunked their own theories and said the previous computer models were inaccurate. So when you have an entity disputing its own facts, why wouldn't you be skeptical? Am I saying I'm ruling out climate change? No, I'm not. In fact, the point of this is if you don't know something, don't be afraid to ask. That's knowledge is power. So if you don't know something, yeah, you're going to get details from an opposing view. Well, you hope that what they give you is fact and not just opinion pieces. They gave me a lot of facts. In fact, I shared them on my page, Your Average Joe Politics, on Facebook. I encourage anybody who wants to know about climate change to read them and come to your own conclusions. But don't just make a blanket statement about climate change. Learn some information about it. And I think through civil discussion and humorous debate, keep it fun. Don't be jerks to each other, but keep it fun. You can have discussions. You can remain friends. People losing friends on Facebook over politics is just crazy. It's like, I don't agree with you. I think you're being an ass, so I'm going to unfriend you or block you. Or seriously? We had 8 years under President Obama, okay? Yeah, there were a lot of us that had little hissy fits. I'll be the first to admit, when it came to the topic of Second Amendment rights and guns, I complained like a little bitch over and over and over again. Every time I saw President Obama try to pass legislation that would restrict or infringe upon Second Amendment rights. Yes, and I was very passionate about that stance. And I think the beautiful thing about having an opposing view and having friends that have an opposing view and being friends, I have told my friends numerous times on Facebook, and this is kind of why I made a separate page. So I don't want politics to be running my life. I want to be informed. So I kind of took it from my personal page and made this page instead. So I can just make this page just about politics. friends with opposing views, and I've told my friends this, you are always more than welcome to fact check anything I say. You can use my Facebook wall, post any facts you have on anything that I don't have knowledge of. If I make a statement and it's incorrect, please correct me. I want to be corrected. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like, hey, I know, but guess what? I really don't. People that do follow my Facebook, I don't want to mislead them with improper information. Fact check me. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would respect that. And it's crazy that people that have an opposing view, their stance is, this is my wall. You have First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, but this is Facebook. This is my wall. Your First Amendment rights don't exist here. But I agree, and I'll respect your request to not post stuff on your wall, tag you in things, and whatnot. But if you don't want to have open, valid, civil discussion about things, well, you're pretty much guaranteeing another 4 years of President Trump. Things get resolved. Knowledge is shared through civil discussion. Having opposing views is, in my opinion, what makes America great. It causes people to talk. It causes people to think. Okay? So why wouldn't you want that? Well, I'll tell you why. Liberals don't want people to have any type of free thought. They have and this is all my opinion, they have this hive collective of how they should think, how they should act to certain things. Conservatives, libertarians, we all have stands think for yourself. And through this election, even through Obama's administration, I couldn't see, time and time again, liberals walking in lockstep with the same mantras to a certain situation or certain problem. It's like they'd all chant the same things over and over again. It's like, can't you think for yourselves? I want to be challenged. I want to be questioned about what I know. If I post something and it's wrong, I want someone to correct me. If I have an opposing view on my page, awesome. Because you know what? If there's something I don't know about, or they post a fact and it makes me go fact check what they said, well, guess what? They made me take a minute out of my day, or a few minutes out of my day, or even, depending on what they give me to read, a lot longer. One of the links on the climate change was 30 plus pages, just one link. I still have yet to finish that. But the point is, if you take a comment or an opinion and you make someone take a moment of their day on their stance on something, and you make them question it, and they go research it, and they go look it up, and not just Google, but they actually read stuff on the internet. They do a little fact checking of their own. If they even have a shred of doubt, you've just created change. You've made them question their stance on something. Now, they may still, after looking at all the facts, still say, you know what, I still think this way. Well, that's fine. But if you share an opposing view and it makes someone take a minute out of their day, or makes them take a moment and go look at something or go read something, and not opinion pieces, but facts, actual facts, that's how things change. That's how knowledge is shared. That's how minds are changed, or opinions are changed. You use facts. You cause someone to question what they're stating, and they go research it, and they go look at it. In some regards, I'm lazy. I don't want to go fact check and research everything, but if you post links on my stuff that is in opposition to mine and its facts, I will read it. And if you always have opinions, like-minded opinions, and you don't have any opposing opinion, well, how do you know what's really fact anymore at that point? Take the election, for instance. Look at the mainstream media. They were all like, Hillary's going to win. Hillary's going to win. She's got this in the bag. I guess she didn't, huh? I guess you really didn't. But everybody believed what they were saying. No one questioned it. But those that didn't believe the mainstream media. We all sure as hell knew, didn't we? And look who we have for president today. Pretty amazing, right? When you don't walk in lockstep with the mainstream media, when you don't walk in lockstep with like-mindedness, when you question things. I will tell everybody, conservative or liberal, it doesn't matter. Our government is here to serve us. We're not here to serve them. They work for us. Question everything, okay? Pay attention to stuff. Because I'll be honest, my friend made a comment about this thing with the visa waiver program. Well, why didn't you say anything about this earlier? I didn't know. I really didn't follow politics for a while, for a long time. I think I kind of started following politics when President Obama kept trying to infringe on the Constitution over and over and over again. And it got me into a lot of debates with my my friends who have opposing views on firearms and guns and the Second Amendment right. Not so much freedom of speech. And that's kind of how I got into politics a little bit, you know. So I don't want to keep this video wicked long. Kind of short and sweet. It's probably been long for a while already. But bottom line, keep it civil. Have opposing opinions. If they post a link to facts, read them. And if your friends post something that you fact check and find that to be false, correct them. Out of respect, if they say, please don't post things or comment on my stuff, you know what? It's their Facebook wall. You don't have to comment. You don't have to respond. Respect that. That's their space. I had a friend today I normally have kind of stopped commenting on because I don't want to get into these big political discussions because I already know I don't want to feel like I'm hijacking their Facebook. But he asked a question. He says, Trump supporters, are you scared yet? Well, that was what made me look up this the visa waiver program. And I researched and found more information on that and how that came about. But because he asked a question, I answered. And it turned into a good debate. It was very civil, as any debate or opposing opinion should be. But that's why I encourage people, have people around you that have the same mindset as you, same views, and also surround yourself with opposing views. And have good discussion. You don't have to be jerks to each other. Knowledge is power. I would have never known or even thought about looking up climate change. I don't find it's important to me. I know it's horrible to say. I mean, we're talking about the planet here. Hello. It should be a little more important to me. But right now I have other priorities, and everybody has different priorities in their life, and that's fine. But through civil discussion, through civil debate, I am looking into climate change. I would have never done that before. So this is a positive change that can come about with civil discussion. So people shouldn't be so quick to shut it down if it's an opposing view. There are benefits to it. There's a lot more to come. President Trump has only been president for a week. Things are changing pretty fast. In my opinion, I get no complaints. You know, I do think I want to get a coffee mug that says liberal tears on it because I have seen so many people complaining about President Trump. It's comical. Their views on things, and it's okay. It's all right. I had my rants when President Obama was doing things too. But keep it civil. Freedom of speech is amazing. You don't have to burn shit, destroy neighborhoods, assault people. If you keep it civil, I don't see a problem with it. You know, again, I've said it on my own page and on my political page. Congratulations to the people that did the Women's March. Whether I agree with the narrative or not, the fact remains I have yet to see anybody that was arrested. I Googled it because I was like, hey, wow, all these people in one location and not one arrest, is that true? So I fact-checked it, and guess what? All these people in one location zero arrests. Now, I've seen one video where a woman was assaulted by another guy, and he has yet to be arrested or found. I shared that, I think, today on my political page. But bottom line is, let that be a shining example. Not the content of the march, mind you, but the fact that there were so many people in one location and there was not one arrest. That's what a protest should be, civil. You know, you may not agree with the message, you may not agree with the narrative, you may not agree with the speakers, you may not agree with what was being said, but you can't dispute the fact that many people in one location, zero arrests, that's a positive thing. That should be an example for any future protest. So congratulations to those that took part in that across the country. I hope, protests in the future. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few because there's quite a lot of people that don't like President Trump. Ironically, he's our president. You may not like him. You may sit there and say, "Not my president, not my president." Well, if you're living here in America, he's your president. It's simple as that. Just like I didn't like to admit President Obama was my president. He is. He was. He's out of there. Thank God. Anyway, just, have discussion. Have opposing views. Don't be quick to shut people down if you're having a discussion. And by all means, again, be civil. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be an ass. You can have discussions with people. You can keep it civil. It's the way it should be. It's how knowledge is shared. I hope you all enjoyed what I've been posting on my page. I'll continue to post stuff. I encourage you guys, if you have friends that have opposing views, bring them to my page. Let them comment. I enjoy civil discussion, civil debate. It's how knowledge is shared. It's how everybody should be. And, if you don't follow politics, and I think if you're going to vote, you should follow politics a little bit at least, or a lot. You got to have opposing views. You got to have discussion. You got to look at facts. And if you're only hearing facts from one side, from one party, you're not hearing all the facts. What I've tried to do, and I'll close with this, is take information that the left is giving you. Take information that the right is giving you. It may not be all entirely true. I like to put them side by side, look at where they compare, see where things are similar. It's usually somewhere in the middle. Those are the facts. If they're both stating, the left and the right, certain items, that's fact, because they're at least stating that. And look at everything you're reading. Look at everything you're watching on TV. Question everything. Question things from conservatives. Question things from liberals. Think. That's what you need to do, is just think. Far too long, people haven't been thinking when it comes to politics. They just, I agree. Like the conservatives will be like, no, that's crap. That's bullshit. That's crap. The gun stuff, like me. I was one of those people. Maybe still am, who knows? But I'm a lot more open to hearing an opposing opinion. I think I always have been. But if it's done with civility and facts, I'll read them. I think everybody should be that way, the left and the right. It's too bad. There's too many people now on Facebook are blocking people, unfriending people. It's an opposing view. So I hope you all enjoy the video. I'll try and do this on a weekly basis, and we'll see from there. I appreciate you following my page. Your Average Joe Politics on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter at AvJoePolitics. It's on my phone, so I can't look it up right now. It's on my page anyway. You can check it out. You can follow me on Twitter. Just kind of getting into this. There's not much going on right now, but to those follow me, if you have friends with opposing views, bring them to my page. Tell them to like it. Tell them to comment. I'll never censor anybody on my page. If you want to make yourself look like an ass and look stupid, that's your right. I won't censor anybody. You can have hate speech. You can be derogatory or rude to people. I won't censor you. But I will tell you this. You can have a discussion and be civil. if you can't be civil on my page, I'd request that you don't be there. And down the road, I mean, if it gets out of hand, I think at some point I probably would block somebody, but I'd never censor your comments. With that in mind, I shouldn't have to. People should be adult enough to be civil. So be civil, talk to your friends with opposing views, have civil discussion. Knowledge is power, everybody. Have a great day. And God bless America and President Trump.